Just getting all this good old socials up here. Okay. I think we're ready to rock and roll, guys. Yeah, all set up. All right, let's go over a couple things, guys, real quick. We got about 9:17, so I usually wait till about 9:20, but we'll kind of dive in a little. Definitely a tricky range, guys. We're definitely in a tricky range, as we have been for some time now. So when you take a look at it like this, guys, I'm going to mute all the indicators. At the end of the day, we had our kind of top. We got the blow off top we expected. In the pre-market, we were doing some measured move plays, all that. I mean, the highest point, if I'm kind of stretching, was this one up here, 29.8 or so. That would be almost an exact measured move from this low to here, from that, midpoint up, right? It's definitely, there might have been a time that I'm sitting here saying there's no chance we're getting to that, but it's definitely a possibility. So, we just got to be careful. So now when we look at this, there was another interesting kind of technical I was looking at, which is if you take the low from here to this high, the low from here, right, to this high, and you kind of move those up through measured moves, we're kind of right at that high, guys. So I know it's not, conventional to, not say anything other than go long lately, but currently it's trying to look very top-like, right? We have a lot of wicks, a lot of, absorptions to the south here. You do have an inverted hammer. If we get a close below 300 in the next 40 minutes, right, that's going to be a pretty bearish draw. What I would like to see happen would be for us to get that bearish draw, because even in a normal candle structure, if this is our high, prior high, right, a lot of times when it does these blow up tops, it likes to pull back and kind of tap that prior high, and then from there it's going to go up, or it's going to breach it, and we're just going to absolutely fall to the floor, right? And so when you look at some of the candle structures, we don't really have any kind of confirmation yet, because we do have a hammer here, but then we have an inverted hammer here, right? It kind of creates that high low. So we need to get below 222 or so to really get a good pull from that. So if you go to our...
The MNQ has failed to sustain the push.
I'm going to mute him for a second. If you go to the daily, right, I mean, we're just absolutely flat bottom with just violent strength in every move for the past 4 days, right? And so we haven't seen, directional candles like that really since here. And even then, right, it wasn't as strong as it was there. So it's just really hard to tell, right, what it's going to do from there. But what I do know is we're an absolute just crazy push. So a lot of times, either the 4-hour or the daily, people, before they really start even thinking about really pushing short, right, they like to see some kind of structure supporting a southern move, right, which would be on the daily having that doji close below, some form flat top, something, right. And so we'll have to see how that progresses for today. So on the 4-hour, kind of likewise, right, we have nothing but kind of absorptions to the north, and then the close above, and we went up. We had a doji with another doji close, and we went up. I mean, candle progression wise, it's kind of doing what it should have been doing for the most part, right? And so the moment we get on one of these higher time frames some kind of doji with an actual good strong close below, it's going to give a pretty deep pull. So but we'll have to see how open treats. The last couple opens, we did a really kind of low sweep, and then we held that low, right? And so if we come into open and we're somewhere up in here and we sweep that low and then just go push north again, y'all, it's gonna do it again today. But there's a few things to keep in mind. One, the CPI tomorrow, the projected is bearish, and so a lot of this push was due to the AI, hopeful of the peace deal with Iran, um, all that stuff going on, right? And so it's going to really depend on how that all pans out for today. Like, does the tech stocks want to keep going, or are they topping out? So on that, and but yeah, I don't know, guys. We'll have to be careful in the open. I didn't take any trades on pre-market. I traded last night on Sunday Asia, and Sunday Asia was tricky in itself as well, right? Because you can see Sunday Asia, we ended up opening up with this drop here. Typically, that drop is the direct move, the move that we go, right? And we ended up getting a full reclaim, came back halfway, and then took up the higher high, right, for the new all-time high. Got the pull, stayed high or low, kind of went like that, right? Now, my concerns is this structure is beginning to look very bearish, right? Very top-like. See how we're starting to get the wicks here? There's definitely a chance that we can push back up into this range come open. But if we reject low or high anywhere from there and it comes back up with any kind of steam, we might get a nice little healthy pullback finally from this. So now my concerns are it's not perfect, but we do have a similar kind of structure to the ones that like to hit and jump, right? And so be really careful. I would suggest you keeping your volume a little lower today. We really just don't know, right, how it's gonna act until we get into open here. So now what I want to look for is kind of what I was talking on the mentor group is I want to see, is it doing bearish things more or bullish things more? Now, well, right now it's tricky because you have bearish structures that are collapsing, right, and then you have continuation bearish setups, right, that are bouncing, right. Obviously it's into higher time frame support. You got head and shoulders that are breaking down. You got other head and shoulders breaking down. There was an inverse head and shoulder here that did break up, and so we're right now showing all signs of a more range-like plays than it is a push north or a push south, right? And so I'm cool with that. I would love for this thing to just range today. Just give us some kind of data, some kind of room to play in, and go from there, right? And so we're kind of opening up a little bit into an inverse head and shoulder here. We had a couple trend lines we were drawing, but I'm going to remove these just because come open, I don't know how viable it's going to be. For me, I like to kind of, I decided to box it in mostly for the mentor group on that. And so this kind of, little shaded area is something I'm heavily watching. I think that it's going to be a big one to watch because I think anything internally in here is just going to be ranging. If we break out of there, that's going to be our full dump, right? We're going to come all the way back down to these prior highs. Anything that breaks above here, there's a trend line that I threw out just as kind of like this is possible, and that would be right there, right? And so we just got to see how open reacts, guys. If I want to see this thing pull, or you want to decide your bias, I don't care if you're long or short today. My suggestion would be if you want to take a long, let it pull back and then get a close confirmation into the northern side. If you want to take it short, right, you want to have it push up and then take that rejection south. The only way I would even entertain some kind of continuation plays, right, would be if we get a deep sweep on open and then it comes back up and it's holding these with confirmations back south, right? I would need a deep sweep, then I still need the pullback, then I'll take it back south, right? I'm not interested in taking the deep sweep continuations. I don't really, and you got to trade your own plan, right? But to me, I don't care if we mark it open and we drop all the way to there, right? I'll let that thing go. I'm not chasing it because there's been too many areas of deep bounce, right? So the last couple of opens, we've swept down to that low on open, and then we just go parabolic all day. So I need to see how this open plays out, guys. Last week was a very, very tricky day. I always laugh at a lot of the social media people, man. Hindsight's such a beautiful thing. You get these guys on there that are like, "What do you mean this is hard to trade? It's easy. You just go here, look for this. You have a low and you take your long, and then it just goes up." And I'm like, it's easy to say that when it already happened, right? But when you're in the middle of nowhere where nobody actually has any data or TA, right? The thing in trading, I always repeat this, is that one trader's great day is usually another trader's bad day, right? If this thing ranges all day, I mean that would be a phenomenal day for me. But I'm not huge on taking these type of moves where they just continuously go forever. This is not my style of trading, right? And so I teach it to where you can understand that, and if that's something you like to do, hey, more power to you, right? But I prefer to find a little structure within. So give me 1 second, guys. Okay, my daughter's home from school, and so she left real quick, and her dog's just sitting on the couch crying. I don't think you guys can hear it, but like, not listening to that, buddy. All right. So, but yeah, so guys, we really uh no, they're almost instant. Like I look by the time I refresh, they're already there. So unless there's something going on with trade of 8 on that. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, guys, a couple things I think that might help us today. I was talking about on the mentor group is we're gonna watch heavily. Is on our 1 minute, right? We have these green and red lines from our indicator, the adaptive liquidity framework, and we also have the buy sell signals. So what I kind of want to do today is I want to utilize our technology, right? Not only Neo and his advice, but ideally we don't want to really take a short unless we have a sell on both the micro and the 1 minute at least. If you get it on the macro, great. I also don't want to take a sell unless I'm below things like Lisma. I prefer to have some kind of open air within here, and I don't want to take a long while I have all sells within there, right? So we'll take all that and couple it in with Neo, right, and his TA, and see what kind of calls that we can get from that. But again, guys, anything right now is just speculation until market opens. There's just no way to know. So I have a couple accounts I'm willing to trade if I like it, but we'll see. So little open there. Actually got to push north this time first. That's the first time. So that might be a sweep and then a southern play, but let's see. We got to see where this low lands on the open. This low is going to make a big difference. If we create a lower low here and we stay below these lows, we're going to drop hard. But if we come back up after creating this higher low and we can breach back up in that area, it's going to push hard. See the lower low hold? So we're still getting, it didn't do it exact. It went up first this time and then it came back, but we still got that kind of barely tap there and then that push north. So for me, guys, this red zone here is our prior day high. So around 383, 386, somewhere in there. Plus we have a 1 hour Lisma. So preferably, I would like to see this thing come up to there, right? And then from there, I want to see if we get any kind of rejection. It's really struggled to get over this 400 kind of barrier. So I want to see if it can get over that thing or not.
Got up there quick, didn't it?
Yeah, didn't even hesitate, did it? So now the key is that going to be our top, right? Or are we going to just have another blow off top? There is a trend line I have here as well, so I want to see it respect. I would prefer, again, guys, I want this to doji, close below, and then I'll take a little play that way because that would just complement the ranging that I'm hoping that is going to happen today, right? But if we just blow through this, who knows where we're going from there, guys? Like, it just, this thing could get absolutely crazy. So I highly suggest y'all use your lower volume today. Highly suggest you use your lower volume today. So let's see. We're getting a lot of pressure north, but we're starting to get a little bear pressure south. So let's see if it wants to hold, or are we just going to the moon again for the 5th day in a row. Again, I would prefer some kind of ranging, but let's see how it wants to play. Right now it's got a lot of strength, guys. We did the same thing, just up and then slightly down, and then we're pushing. Oh man, this is so crazy. Give me some stabilization here, guys. What are you doing?
Wow.
Is this wild, man?
I mean, we just blasted through the top.
Oh yeah, like it was nothing.
Let's see if it holds.
So what I'm curious about is with this structure, are they going to create some bullish fake outs? Because guys, it's going to happen. I promise you, it's going to happen. We're going to get some bullish fake outs. Because there's so much out there that are bullish, right? That at some point, the key is going to be when I want to see, this week, guys. I would really prefer to see something where, you see like here, right? Breach wick, close above, and then it just sweeps. Because to me, that is setting up a trap, right? It shouldn't have done that if we were going to, keep going up. So that's mostly what I'm looking for. But let's look and see. I'm getting a little bit of DOM pressure south. Oh, let me unmute Neo because I do want to listen to him today, and we'll interpret it.
I got you. Bullish pressure. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Forever bullish pressure. We're going. I know we joked about that this morning. I go, I think I'm gonna change Neo's code today to just every update says to the moon. To the moon. So we're getting a little bit of weakness. Now, let's see if we get that rear back right. We got the close, or the doji, a close below that should breach wick this here. Now, this prior day high is going to be huge. For us to push this and retest that would be very normal. And if it holds from there, any kind of explosion off there is going to be pretty deep.
The market has entered a strong impulsive phase to
says.
the upside, characterized by rapid expansion following the breakout from the previous consolidation range. Sentiment, bullish pressure. Confidence, 5 out of 10. Reason, price has surged significantly above the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,315.0 and the 5 minutes LISMA at 29,313.25, reflecting clear buyer dominance. The rapid vertical move, however, has left the price significantly extended from the 1-minute LISMA at 29,304.75 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 29,306.25, creating a high-risk environment for immediate follow-on entries. Concerns. The extreme vertical extension makes the market susceptible to a sharp, aggressive mean reversion move, with no nearby structural support for a pullback entry. The risk of chasing this move at current levels is elevated. Long entry option, none. Short entry option, none. Summary. The MNQ is experiencing a powerful breakout, but the move is currently overextended. Rather than chasing the price, the most disciplined strategy is to wait for the market to consolidate and form a new, stable base. Avoid initiating new positions during this impulsive vertical expansion, as the probability of a sharp retracement to key indicator levels is significantly higher than a clean continuation.
Yeah, and so right now this is really important, guys, because see this, we had our deep push. We're about halfway on that liquidity, right? You got this prior high. So watch this level in the micro, 353. If we collapse that, it's coming down. It's going to be that bull trap and then a hard dump. I'll tell you, if this comes down here and gets that close below there, that's going to be that deep pull to the lower area that I was wanting. Um, Now, if this was going to have some deep strength, right, you got to ask yourself, why didn't it hold this? Still could be strong if it holds that halfway or above that kind of 353. But if we stay below that 353, it's going to come down again. So let's watch and see. I took a couple of scalps on the way back down here once it broke into there. Now I'm watching to see if are we going to get any kind of push. See that dom drop? I'm trying to watch this order flow, see what we look like here. Definitely getting some more pull. So we have a doji within there, and we got to close below. That should breach like that, right? Any kind of bounce there. To me, you guys, isn't it funny in the mentor group, or Cody? I know you like to answer on these, but isn't it funny whenever we break this, it tends to go about $40 to $50, and look at we got almost a 40 before it lost it. It does that so much. It's almost like a stop hunt, right? Remember, every big move down is always has a prelude, typically of some kind of big push up, right? And so let's see if we can get through these technicals though, but so we're getting a push. Right off that's the other thing that's funny to me. Look at this almost perfect top and bottom from that $50 move that we talk about.
Yeah, something about that $50 is wild.
Oh, it just loves it. So I want to see how this treats this. If we stay below that 1 hour Lisma again, should get a pretty good pull, but nothing really standing out quite yet. Yeah, close above here should push it. It's definitely in a little bit of an indecision area. Like I said, I would prefer us to range a little bit, preferably, but not super interested in a forever climb every day again.
The market is currently undergoing a sharp mean reversion following the impulsive upside expansion, effectively testing the strength of the previous breakout. Sentiment, bearish pressure. Confidence, 4 out of 10. Reason, price has retraced significantly from the highs, printing red high Kinashi candles while dropping back toward the 1-minute Lisma at 29,320.25 and the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,317.75. This rapid decline indicates that the buyers were unable to sustain the vertical move, and the market is now seeking to establish if those breakout levels will hold as support. Concerns. The price is hovering near a cluster of support, specifically the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 29,310.75 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,314.75. This creates a high volatility zone where a bounce is just as probable as a continued breakdown, making new entries extremely difficult to qualify. Long entry option. None. Short entry option. A short entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold below 29,310.0, targeting 29,282.25. Invalidation is a reclaim of 29,320.50. Summary. We are currently witnessing a classic blow-off top correction. The market is attempting to find a floor after an overextended move. Avoid chasing the current selling momentum until the price proves its intent by either reclaiming the breakout zone above 29,370.0 or decisively breaking and holding below the 1-minute anchored VWAP support level.
Doesn't he know it's against the rules to say things like blow off top. That's like bad juju right now. We don't want words like blow off top, right, Cody? I want to see words like consolidation. Give me a consolidation. But he's not interested in taking a long.
Classic blow off top.
Classic. Which seems to be a daily occurrence. I don't know, man. It'd be kind of cool Cody to put the sarcastic one on this one too. You know, can you imagine if he came back and he's like, "Seems to be a daily occurrent blow off top. Anybody else tired of this shit? Raise your hand." I'm just kidding. I just again, guys. You know, the way I read markets and the analytics that I enjoy is I want to get back into ranges, right, where we have data. There's just not a lot of data up here. So, not a lot of data. So we are seeming like we're rejecting or respecting that prior day high. Let's see if we get the close below. Oh no. Again, we got a lot of stuff in here, right, that it's got to breach. Wouldn't be opposed to a pull with a little bit of a bear flag there, but let's look at out here. So where did we bounce? We bounced right off of there. Yeah, we're just in the range. I need this to break back below 53 and hold that with some respect. The amount of strength it still has up here is just crazy. Let's see how this treats. So again, if you look at NEO, we're sitting at like 370s and 80s, right? And he's like short option, right? And remember, he's mostly looking for singular entry type stuff, right? Safer entry. He's like, I'm not even entertaining a short unless we get back down below 310, which is like way down here. I love that he's not eager to chase this push, though. That's actually a good thing. But man, look at this pressure. It's just so insane, guys. Insane.
The market has staged a strong recovery and is testing the upper limits of its recent range, showing renewed buying interest as it pushes back toward the session highs. Sentiment. Bullish
see if
pressure.
this holds.
Confidence. 5 out of 10. Reason. Price has reclaimed the 1-minute Lisma at 29,337.25 and the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,320.50, effectively invalidating the previous bearish pullback. The green high Kinashi candle color and the bullish slope of the 15 seconds Lisma indicate that buyers have regained control of the immediate price action. Concerns. The market is approaching the recent highs near 29433.0, which serves as a significant resistance level that may trigger profit taking or secondary rejection. Entry here is precarious due to the proximity of the ceiling. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold above the recent high of 29,433.25, targeting 29460.0. Invalidation is a drop back below the 1-minute Lisma at 29,337.25. Short entry option. None. Summary. The bullish momentum has successfully re-engaged. While the trend is back in favor of the buyers, the presence of overhead resistance near the session high means that a breakout requires firm confirmation. Avoid chasing the current upward move and wait for a clear, sustained break beyond 29,433.25 to provide the necessary room for a high probability continuation trade.
Okay, so Sellers are coming in a little bit, but again, we lost this prior day high, rejected twice off of it, and then just reclaimed it, guys. Ugh. But the only thing I don't like about it is that reclaim and this hold should be really bullish. It should push, but we're still getting some DOM drops, right? But we know we have a high and a low, right? If we lose this high again, it's going to come down pretty violent, I think. But anything short of that, we may still keep bouncing. Let's see. Gotta wait and see what this thing does here. We do have a gap fill all the way down here, guys. 330. Those are usually pretty accurate. So we're testing that prior day high. Again, I think if we lose that, it's going to drop pretty significant. But if we bounce here, then it's going to bounce pretty significant. So we got to watch this level. It's going to be pretty critical. This is a big area, guys. See how we're compressing here? If we can sweep into there, it's going to sweep pretty hard. But if we get a push up to there, it's going to push pretty hard. So it's tricky. We got a new high. So I'm going to kind of move this up. Let's see what kind of strength this thing has. So we went from acting as resistance on the prior day high, now we're acting as support, right? And so I would expect it to get a little wild, right? We're gonna get some pretty deep sweeps either way, just to kind of shake out some trades before it makes its move. See that pull? This is a big pull because that kind of strength right there with that doji that closed below should pull it to there with that structure. Anything short of that, these bulls are not done. Let's see if we get all the way to Lisla. Again, we can retest here and jump, right? Very, very possible. But we have a nice little clean double top on a lower high, right, which just collapsed. So chance we could bounce back up to retest the neckline, but if that sucker fails,
the
man,
MNQ is currently experiencing a moderate pullback, testing the structural support provided by the 1-minute Lisma after failing to maintain its climb toward the session highs. Sentiment: bearish pressure. Confidence: 4 out of 10. Reason: price has slipped below the 1-minute Lisma at 29,353.50. And the shift to a red high Kinashi candle confirms a temporary loss of buying momentum. The 15 seconds Lisma remains significantly elevated, suggesting the move is still largely corrective within a broader bullish framework. Concerns: the market is currently sitting above the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,324.0 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,321.25. This proximity to multiple major support levels makes a clean breakdown difficult to achieve without a sustained, high-volume push, long entry option. A long entry is valid on a confirmed bounce off the 29,324.0 area, targeting a retest of 29385.0.
That hard rejection.
Invalidation is a confirmed break and hold below 29,320.0. Short entry option: none. Summary: we are currently seeing a healthy retest of the breakout structure, while the immediate price action is bearish. The proximity of key macro support levels like the 1-minute EMA 200 suggests that buyers may re-enter near these areas. Watch for price to stabilize around the 29,324.0 zone to see if the bullish trend can resume or if the pullback will deepen.
So, anybody catch that kind of quick little scalp there off that rejection? See how we came back up that neckline? It's a perfect double top rejection, guys. So be careful in your longs. I know some of you have been doing some longs trying to time bottoms, because when we get that kind of structure below a prior day like that, it can go deep, guys. And you can see the structure build here. Any close below there is going to sweep pretty deep as well. So we do have a gap fill around 331. So, but we know we have to expect some kind of bounces because we have VWAP here, 5-minute Lisma. There's a lot of stuff in there that can definitely bounce. So an expected bounce off there. Now we have a breach wick of Lisma. Close above that should push hard into here. I'd be surprised, man, if it does that. If it does that, it kind of shouldn't, guys. So if it does, man, it's just going to continue to show the strength of the bulls. We do have us bouncing right off the 382 as well, which is at 355 there. So we do have the gap fill again at 331. That one would be cleared once we get there. Let's just see if we're going to go directly there, or does this thing want to keep on bouncing? Nope. See the bearish pressure? So we got the breach, but we never got the close above, so that gives that signal for us to pull. So this 200 is going to be real big for me. If we can breach through that 200, that's going to create a lower low. Just the way this structure is. It's going to come hard. See the pressure kicking in? Kind of bouncing right on VWAP right here, guys. There's the pull. Last leg. So we got the 200 here as well as the 5-minute Lisma. Anything breach wick here, close below, should pull here with some pretty decent strength. Pretty violent, actually. So see that gap fill? Hopefully you guys were capturing those on the way there. Like I said, be careful on your longs. Can we bounce here? Sure. But we can also break all this stuff and fall to the floor. So
I haven't take profit.
yeah, I'm out of all my stuff right now. I'm waiting to see if it bounces off this 5-minute Lisma. I'll take shorts again if I get a close below this breach wick, right? Because I got some OA, and I'm using tight take profits, right? And so just a little micro scalping.
The MNQ is currently testing the 1-minute EMA 200 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP, placing it at a critical structural juncture where the prevailing bullish bias is being challenged by a sharp short-term correction. Sentiment. Bearish pressure. Confidence. 5 out of 10. Reason. Price has broken below the 1-minute Lisma at 29,362.0 and is now pressing into the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,326.0 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 29,320.50. The red Heikin-Ashi candles reflect clear seller participation, and the shift to a bearish 15 seconds EMA trend confirms that the immediate downside momentum is dominant. Concerns. The proximity of the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,322.0 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP creates a significant support cluster that acts as a primary magnet and potential bounce zone, limiting the immediate room for a sustained bearish breakdown. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a confirmed rejection of the 29,320.0 area, targeting a retest of 29360.0. Invalidation is a confirmed break and hold below 29,315.0. Short entry option. A short entry becomes valid on a confirmed breakout and hold below 29,315.0, targeting 29285.0. Invalidation is a reclaim of 29,330.0. Summary. We are currently witnessing a critical test of support following the recent pullback. The market is at a crossroads where the support cluster between 29,315.0 and 29,326.0 will dictate the next directional move. Traders should watch for a definitive resolution of this level before committing to a position, as the current price action remains highly volatile.
Yes, it does. So see the sweep there, guys. Again, this structure, guys, creates a lower low majority of the time, right? Somewhere into here. At least a retest of there, but usually it creates the lower low. So just be really careful on the longs. Again, we just need, my hopes is this week that we do respect some form of structure, right? That's my hopes. So, but I kind of said this towards the end of last week and it didn't play out, but in all fairness, that was the AI stocks going crazy. But at some point, they're going to start setting some bull traps, right? And then they're going to sweep this sucker south. And so be really careful chasing these bottoms, because if you're going to take a long because you like the bounces, right, get some distance from things like this, right? Get some distance. Wait for things to bounce off of here and then reclaim highs, right? Like, just be really patient on longs, and possibly, arguably even shorts, right? Because right now you can see where we're testing right on these prior highs. If we lose these highs, which would be around 310, which I think that's what you said, 315, it's good advice, right? If you get that close below that kind of 315, then that's gonna give a deep validation of the short. So, but we're getting a little more bullish pressure. We definitely broke structure here. So let's see how deep this goes. Remember, what caused this fall was this neckline hit right here, right? Caused that fall. So we should, if we're going to stay bearish, we should stay below things like this, right? Lisma, all that stuff. So let's see. Moment of truth for me. Look at that drop. There it is. See the bounce off there, or rejection? Notice, remember what I was talking about earlier, guys, how we went from green to red? You went red right there. So that gave you your kind of green light if you're following that kind of structure. So we're kind of in a OA area here, open air, right? But we also are coming into some areas here that can definitely bounce. So I would expect for at least a pull to here. We are testing the Lisma, or not Lisma, I'm sorry, the POC on the high time frame. So any kind of close in there, guys, we have a pretty deep pocket. I want to see if we keep getting this bearish pressure. So we are below.
The MNQ has decisively broken through the support cluster and the 1-minute EMA 200, confirming a significant shift toward bearish momentum as the market unwinds its previous gains. Sentiment: bearish pressure. Confidence: 7 out of 10. Reason: price has failed to hold the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,326.0 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,322.75, confirming a breakdown of the structural support zone. The downward slope of the 15 seconds Lisma at 29,336.50 and the persistent red Heikin Ashi candle signal that sellers have re-established control of the trend. Concerns: the price is now approaching the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 29,285.25, which acts as the next major macro floor. Short positions should be managed aggressively as the market enters this high confluence support area. Long entry option: none. Short entry option: a short entry is valid on a confirmed retest of the broken 29,320.0 area, targeting 29,285.25. Invalidation is a reclaim of 29,330.0. Summary: the bearish breakdown is now fully confirmed, with the previous support levels turning into resistance. The short-term outlook is firmly bearish. Focus on continuation moves toward the 5 minutes EMA 200 while being mindful of potential support reactions as price nears this macro structural boundary.
Yeah. So again, he's talking about watch out for the reactions within that. You can see we are getting a little bit of a decent push here. It's testing on Lisma within that, so 361. This is going to be big, guys, because to me, when I look at this whole structure should at least have gotten to there before we reclaimed all that, right? Like this deep. We still have room to hit and go down, but if we were going to stay very bearish, I wanted it to stay below like 345 or so. Arguably 362 is another one that could reject us pretty well, so I'm not opposed to that. But we definitely shouldn't breach that. So let's see. Yeah, so there's the rejection. Now, where this rejection lands is critical, because if it holds that halfway, right, from here, we hold that halfway, which is these prior highs, and it jumps again. They faked it out south, guys, and we go into the moon again. But if we end up breaching through back again for that low down to test there, which is what kind of NEO is calling as well, then we're just we're continuing to range, right? Like I was thinking earlier. Let's see. We're getting some pressure south, but we're also getting a little pressure north as well. Very interesting. What is the number for the London low? It's down here. 259.25, around there. Definitely getting some pressure, and we did hold that halfway. Just keep ranging, buddy. That's all we wanted to do. Just keep ranging. Let's see if we get this rejection again. A little bearish pressure, but it's not dropping as much as I'd like to see. Because usually I want to see those actual dumb drops, right? Especially being so close to Lisma, we should be seeing some. There's so much resistance in here. It's not even funny. Let's take a little trend line, guys. I don't want to get complacent here. Anything below this, we can definitely tap that, right? So we have a lot more we can go up, but anything below that, we're pressuring south, so.
The market has staged a sharp, aggressive reclaim of the key support cluster, signaling that the breakdown was a temporary exhaustion phase rather than a sustained reversal. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 5 out of 10. Reason. Price has reclaimed the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,326.50 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,325.75. The transition to a green high Kinashi candle and the aggressive bounce off the recent lows indicate that buyers have regained control, forcing a rapid mean reversion back into the prior range. Concerns. The market is currently squeezed between the 1-minute Lisma at 29,363.25 and the 1-minute EMA 200/5 of a minute Lisma cluster below, until price clears the 1-minute Lisma with sustained volume. The potential for a secondary rejection remains high. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold above 29,363.25, targeting 29395.0. Invalidation is a drop back below 29,325.0, short entry option, none. Summary. The market has effectively trapped the recent sellers, leading to a strong recovery, while the short-term trend is now bullish. Caution is advised as price approaches the 1-minute Lisma resistance. A clean breakout above this level is required to confirm the next leg of the move to the upside.
I like that. He said it trapped short sellers. I hadn't heard him say that before.
Yeah, he's starting to evolve as he does his little self audits on certain recognizing certain terms and stuff. It's pretty cool. Uh, yeah, guys, this is again, kind of expected it to push back into here. Um, it's simple, right? But these kind of 1 minute trend lines like that to me hold a lot of weight, because if it just blows through that with a high or low right here, guys, man, it's just either it's gonna range pretty higher than I thought it was, right? Because we had that square kind of down here, um, or we're just gonna go, right? But to me, it doesn't look like the Bears have enough strength to really pull us down, but then the Bulls aren't really getting enough strength to really explode us either. So let's see if the prior day high holds any weight this time. Not so far. Man, look at this strength. It's just insane, guys. There's the drop. See the DOM drop? So let's see, we get another, which is expected off of a prior day high, but I'd like to get a second or third one. Again, prior day high, right? I want to see that DOM drop me. A little drop there. There's a second one. Get a third one. Nope, absorbed. Let's see. So it's retesting Lisma. This is a big one. Any kind of breach back below Lisma, right, would be your short scalp back to here. Just trying to watch the DOM here.
The MNQ has successfully cleared the immediate resistance at the 1 minute Lisma, confirming the bullish momentum following the recent reclaim. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 6 out of 10. Reason: price has pushed above the 1 minute Lisma at 29,370.50 and is trading comfortably above the 1 minute EMA 200 at 29,328.75 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,328.25. The shift to a bullish 1 minute Lisma trend and the sustained green high Kinashi candles highlight that the bulls are currently in control of the near-term price action. Concerns: the price is showing signs of potential stalling near the 29,385.0 level, and any failure to maintain this breakout will invite a retest of the now supportive 1 minute Lisma. Long entry option: a long entry is valid on a pullback and bounce at the 29,370.50 area, targeting the liquidity at 29405.0. Invalidation is a reclaim of 29,355.0. Short entry option: none. Summary: the bullish reclaim is now well established, with the market successfully converting former resistance into support, with momentum on the side of the buyers. Focus on buying the dip at the 1 minute Lisma level while avoiding any temptation to fade the strength of this move.
So the big one on here, guys, is he wanted a pullback to 370, right? So he wasn't trying to chase the top. And so we got that little bit of a pullback. But his concern, right, is that we are stalling around that level, and now that Lisma was above, he wanted to see that it would hold the support from in there. So right, and so for now, mostly what I'm watching, guys, is we have a 1 hour Lisma, a 15-minute Lisma, and Asia high all within here, and so this is our prior US high. So there's just so much resistance within there. So now we're getting, you guys can see the sellers are trying, right? They're pushing. We did get a close below that doji. Typically that is more of a southern pull, right? But it's just pushing with a reclaim. So now we need to see, does this create a resistance or support, right? We got the breach wick close above would push us to there. Any kind of failure below this flat bottom, right, is going to pull us back down to there. So just keep watching the DOM. Yeah, it's just insane how strong it's still trying to hold up here, but we are getting the rejections that we wanted off of that prior day high. So one more rejection I think will pull us down pretty good, but if we do get that breach above it, anything above 400 410, man, we're just going back to that high again. And again, this week, I want to see, I'm kind of expecting at some point that we get that pullback or that consolidation, right? I mean, as much as it'd be fun to see this thing just go to the moon forever, some kind of liquidity has to be cleared at some point, right? And so we do have a prior high here. See over there, 388.50. Looks like it's holding pretty good on the micro actually. So let me mark a line there. Let's just put one over here. So 388.50. Let's see if that stays valid still, or if we breach through that. Now we know we run the risk of coming all the way to there because that's our kind of trend line area. If we do push up into there, any kind of breach back south from there would be pretty violent. But the strength is still trying, man. This northern push is still doing its best. So crazy. See if it gets this breach, or do we get the rejection off of Lisma here?
30,000, here we come.
I'm telling you. It's crazy to see this strength just consistent.
No negative news can even change it.
I know, right? Seems that way.
We just got
So this is a moment of truth, guys. I want to see, does it act as it should, or are we just moving, right? Because usually you breach wick these things, and then they try to pull back to retest these highs. If it bounces on those highs, right, then that's going to go pretty hard. If we lose those highs, then it's going to go down pretty hard down. So let's see if it's got the strength to hold those, or are we going to get a little pullback from there. We do have a 382 fib at 410 on that indicator.
The MNQ is maintaining a steady bullish climb,
See that DOM
with
drop?
price now clearing the recent local resistance and establishing a clear trend above the 1-minute Lisma. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 6 out of 10. Reason: price has pushed beyond the 1-minute Lisma at 29,379.50 and is finding support along the way. All primary indicators: the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,331.25, the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,330.75, and the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 29289.0 are aligned below the current price, confirming broad structural support for the ongoing upside movement. Concerns: the market is approaching the session highs, and while momentum is strong, the extension away from the 1-minute Lisma increases the risk of a minor consolidation phase or a brief retest of the breakout area. Long entry option: a long entry is valid on a confirmed pullback and bounce from 29,379.50, targeting liquidity at 29433.0. Invalidation is a reclaim of 29,365.0. Short entry option: none.
So crazy.
Summary: the bullish trend is well supported by a solid foundation of structural indicators. Traders should look to participate on shallow pullbacks to the 1-minute Lisma, keeping in mind that the current momentum favors the buyers until a breakdown of the 29,365.0 level indicates a loss of control.
This high right here is going to be big for me, that 415. But you can see, right, we got the pull, like I was saying, kind of the breakdown here. We got that sweep to the prior day high, and now it's kind of hammering up. Ooh, trading view refreshing. And so we got to close above that. That usually gives some expansion, but we got to see how it treats these prior highs. So pushing through. See if we get any kind of deep sweep back of absorption, because it's got to maintain and hold above that kind of 414. Anything that's short of that, right, it's going to come back. Let's see. I want to see what kind of candle this one creates here. So your safer play to take, if you're doing directional, single entry short scalps, right? You'd want to get back below here. Breach break close, and then that thing's going to come pretty hard. So we got a bearish candle here, but let's see if this flips into a bullish candle, or do we get enough strength to breach with there. Based on this candle and this close, right, this should go to there. So if it jumps again, guys, this thing ain't ready. The bears are definitely trying to come in. You guys, I know, see those dom drops here and there. They trying. So we had a bearish candle into an absorption north. Let's see what this next one does here. Again, we are right at that 382 and that fib as well. I don't see any other traps though. So we're clear on that.
The market is displaying strong upward momentum, characterized by a steady push toward the session highs with clearly defined structural support trailing behind the price action. Sentiment, bullish pressure. Confidence, 7 out of 10. Reason, price has cleanly broken and held above the 1-minute Lisma at 29,391.50, and the consistent green high Kinashi candles reflect strong buyer intent. The slope of the 1-minute Lisma is accelerating, confirming that the current move is driven by genuine strength rather than simple range oscillation. Concerns, while the trend is bullish, the price is nearing the prior session high at 29,433.25, which may act as a magnet for profit taking and introduce intraday volatility. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a pullback and bounce at the 1-minute Lisma at 29,391.50, targeting 29,433.25. Invalidation is a confirmed break and hold below 29,380.0, short entry option, none. Summary. The bullish trend is currently in a high conviction state. Traders should prioritize long entries on pullbacks to structural support levels while maintaining discipline near the previous session highs to avoid being caught in a potential reversal or liquidity sweep.
Yeah. It's funny how, I always tell you guys, a lot of the programming he has, right, is a lot of the way that I think with things too. And when he keeps saying, if you want to prioritize longs, you got to wait for a pullback, right, instead of a continuation push, because otherwise you get caught in a sweep. which is literally what I was saying in the beginning, right? And so this is a tough one again, man, because everything in here is showing some pretty solid strength. Our ORB is so wide, guys. We're at 437 all the way down to, and the ORB is pretty much the all-time high. And so, but we're showing some strength, right? But I want to see this. See how we have the breach wicks? A close below there should sweep that pretty hard. So it's tricky because the sellers are not gone. I mean, you guys, I know you see those DOM drops. They're definitely not gone. So if you're looking long, definitely wait for those pullbacks because the sellers are not gone, guys. Not at all. So let's see if we get the close below, or do we bounce again? Because this is a very important level here because you got the 1 minute, the 1 hour, and the 15-minute Lisma all just right there. And that's Asia high. So structure-wise with that sweep up, right, if we close below there, that should sweep pretty hard. But we're getting a little bit of a trend now on the 15-second we can kind of look for. Any kind of breach there, close below, is going to jump. Right now we're just indecision here. How's everybody doing? If you guys want to type in the chat or just throw a thumbs up. So far, so
Low,
good.
slow, and steady.
Good deal. Yeah, it's I've just been doing a lot of different scalps, mostly short. But it's tough right now because we're getting a lot of bullish pressure where it probably shouldn't be. But then we're also getting a lot of bearish DOM drops, right? But these prior highs right here are going to be critical to me because as we come up into there, right, if we can't break these prior highs from this high, it's going to sweep back down, which I'm hoping it does, right? Because I want it to, I want, give me a day of just oscillation, right? These forever 300-point climbs are definitely exhausting with it. So I want to just see some range. Give me some range. So we're stuck between here, that high, as well as the support of that. We're trying to see which one's going to win there. See those DOM drops still? Where it is in support, like those drops just shouldn't happen, man, unless they're gonna absorb, but they just shouldn't happen. If we were gonna keep jumping. See how violent that goes once it drops? I love watching the DOM, guys, the order flow. Love it.
The MNQ is experiencing a short-term pullback as it struggles to maintain the momentum required to clear the recent highs, testing the 1-minute Lisma from above. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 4 out of 10. Reason. Price has retraced slightly below the 1-minute Lisma at 29,399.75, which now acts as immediate overhead resistance. Despite this, the market remains well supported by the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,338.0 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,337.25, suggesting that the broader bullish structural integrity is still intact. Concerns. The red high Kinashi candle and the failure to sustain the breakout above 29,410.0 introduce the risk of a deeper mean reversion toward the support cluster near the 1-minute EMA 200. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold above 29400.0, targeting 29433.0. Invalidation is a confirmed break and hold below 29,380.0, short entry option. None. Summary. The market is undergoing a brief corrective phase after the recent impulsive move. While the short-term trend is pressured, the overall structure remains bullish. Look for the price to stabilize and reclaim the 1-minute Lisma to confirm that buyers are stepping back in for a push toward the session highs.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, with NEO, he's always going to be very watching the range, right? And so notice he was saying his concerns is that up here we can pull back all the way here, but he's still going to identify this as bullish as long as we stay above the 1 minute 200 EMA or that 5 minute Lisma, I think is what he said, right? And so this is where I was talking about if you wanted to take your longs, you got to wait for you get those pullbacks, and then you got to wait for the reclaim of those lows, right? But for me, like I was telling you guys, when you get those inverted hammers, the indecision that close below is what creates that pull. Again, we could just continue to range here, but typically when these structures happen, man, they end up creating lower lows. So just be really careful on your longs, trying to catch too many bounces. Because if we continue to fail to hold that 400 range, that sweep's going to be deep, guys. And we're already kind of seeing that play out. Hold on, I gotta adjust something. Yeah, see this pull? Anybody riding this short? I know most of you said TPs.
Hit my TP.
Hit the TP? Yeah, it got my TP as well. I hate that too because it's all setting up to where it looks good for a possible re-entry, but again, if we end up a range day, the re-entries could be tricky. I'll tell you, for some of you in my class, we've been playing with that kind of, 26 to 30 tick TP, and man, it's actually been pretty cool. So I've been testing a theory today. I've just been doing one M and Q only, and allows me to be a little more aggressive, and it's pretty wild, man, how much you can make. I have one, I'm up like almost 800, 759. It just closed my last one. The other one's up 700. This one's up 750. This one's up 1500, and I'm only doing one M&Qs. I'm just being fairly aggressive, right? Because it's one M&Q. But it's crazy because you only make like 12, I think $15 or something like that per rung. But it allows you to just, man, you got so much room to play without just getting wrecked, right? So let's see if we create the lower low like I've been calling, right? Because that's what it should do. If it does end up pumping up here, guys, then we're just going to continue to range, which I'm cool with, right? That's what we wanted. So, very nice. Anybody stuck in a long? Hopefully not. Just throw a thumbs up if you are. I can kind of help you. But hopefully not. For a long, I wouldn't even entertain a long unless we bounce clearly off here and reclaimed all that, right? Because again, this structure creates a lower low almost every time. So, or at least a top of this low.
The market has experienced an aggressive breakdown, erasing the recent bullish gains and forcing a test of the macro structural support at the 5 minutes EMA 200. Sentiment. Bearish pressure. Confidence. 6 out of 10. Reason. Price has decisively broken below the 1 minute EMA 200 at 29,338.75 and the 1 minute anchored VWAP at 29,332.75. The rapid descent and the shift to a red high Kinashi candle reflect a total loss of buyer control, with the 1 minute Lisma now acting as steep overhead resistance. Concerns. The price is currently interacting with the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 29,290.50, which is the final major macro defense before a potential acceleration to the downside. Entering short here carries the risk of a sharp bounce from this critical level. Long entry option. None. Short entry option. A short entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold below 29,290.0, targeting 29250.0. Invalidation is a reclaim of 29,315.0. Summary. The bullish structure has been invalidated by the sharp move lower. Sellers are firmly in control, and the market is now testing its last major macro support. A sustained break below the 29,290.0 level is required to confirm the next leg of the bearish expansion. Until then, remain alert for a potential structural reaction at this support floor.
So this one, guys, we can easily come back up here to retest that it's normal. I don't know that's going to happen. See the lower low? There it is. So now let's look and see. Yeah, see we got the lower low. So for me, the way I was looking at this one, that usually will create it, but we did have one more little shakeout, and then that ended up creating that. But that's why I was telling y'all, when you're taking longs, it's so risky to take them way up here, because man, we're one bad thing or technical movement away from breaking the ceiling and just falling to the floor. So when this creates this lower low here, we always got to look left, guys. We're not really lower low over here in the macro scheme of things. We're just talking about the lower low from there. Now, if it wants to stay bearish, we typically aren't going to reclaim things like this or this, right? So we should stay below like 300, maybe 312 at the most. It could get as high as here, right? But that's just going to tell us what the strength that it has within the move there. So, guys, it's 10:32. Is anybody still in a trade? Throw a thumbs up just so I know. If not, I'm not in any right now. Let me double check before I say that. But yeah, no, all my stuff hit take profit, so I'm out. So I'm not in anything right now. I highly suggest you let this simmer. Don't jump in for a moment, because we're in a critical phase of, is this going to be a deep lower low, right? Or are we going to come up and retest that halfway before we get that pull back down, right? Or flip side, right? Are we going to reclaim that halfway and just go to the moon for another all-time high, which is possible the way that the market's been going lately. So we don't know yet, right? So as of right now, this is a very bearish setup that should continue lower. We don't know if it's another bear trap, right? And see, I'm just going to sit out and wait a second. I've mostly been short. I'm not taking longs. Some people are definitely taking a lot of longs, which is totally fine. That's the beauty of trading. It doesn't matter if you're long or short, as long as you're entering at the right time, right? If your longs are here and your shorts are there, then you're good. So, but let's let this simmer for a second, guys. Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back.
The MNQ is attempting a recovery move following a sharp liquidation, but it remains heavily constrained by a dense cluster of overhead resistance indicators. Sentiment: bearish pressure. Confidence: 4 out of 10. Reason: despite the green Heikin Ashi candle, price is still trading significantly below the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,336.25 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 29331.0. The 1-minute Lisma at 29,379.75 and 5 minutes Lisma at 29,334.50 are both sloping negatively or acting as immediate barriers, capping any immediate upside potential. Concerns: the market is in a classic dead cat bounce scenario where sellers are likely to look for opportunities to rejoin the trend at the 1-minute anchored VWAP or the 1-minute EMA 200 resistance zones. A failure to clear these levels will invite further downside pressure toward the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 29290.0. Long entry option: none. Short entry option: a short entry is valid on a confirmed rejection at the 1-minute anchored VWAP of 29,331.0, targeting 29,290.25. Invalidation is a confirmed breakout and hold above 29,336.50. Summary: the bearish structure remains dominant despite the recent price update. The market is currently testing its first major layer of overhead resistance, and a failure to sustain momentum above 29,331.0 will likely confirm the continuation of the downtrend. Remain cautious and prioritize short side setups if the price shows signs of exhaustion at these resistance hurdles.
Yeah, I was really confused there because I was looking at my DOM here, and right as it approached there, I was like, I'm gonna start a defensive play south, and I literally went enter, and then I looked down and I wasn't in a position. I'm like, what's going on? And I looked at my P&L and it went up, and I was like, oh shit! Talk about good timing. Fairly, literally entered and took me out like right away. So we did get a pull there, guys. We are bouncing on the prior highs there. That's a little more on the bearish pull than the bullish. So, but we're coming into a lot of overhead resistance, which was expected. Setting up, defensive potential positions isn't bad, right? But you just got to be careful, because we definitely can get a jump here, but it's got to break. There's a lot of hurdles it's got to break. Right, this high here's our doji low. Close above there is going to breach it back up. Close back below there is going to sweep us back down. Internally, it looks like 32, 33 is a pretty big range. We know that we had the pull. This is the halfway. So if we get any kind of rejection here, then we're going back down. If we reclaim this halfway with any kind of violence, going back up. Oh, I just noticed that our 5 minute, we have a gap fill all the way. It's 364. I didn't see that before. So let's see if this wants to reject. This is normally an area, if it's gonna reject it, it'll do it here soon. So let's see. That 200 EMA on the 15-second, man, is... I never had it on my chart, and then somebody in the mentor group said something about putting it on the chart, and it's actually been awesome. Trying to see. All right. So we got 10:40, guys. Again, the development session we started at 11. So if you're not in that one, be careful, because I'm going to try to keep us on time for that one here. So I'm going to watch this move. Let's see if we get any kind of rejection from there. As of right now, it's got strength. So there's our breach. Here's our 1 minute Lisma. Our prior low is around 350. So that's going to be a big one, guys, for me. We know that the gap fill is all the way to 360 something, right? And at the end of the day, like I said, there's a strong chance that we just do some kind of ranging today before it determines its direction. So from a larger structure, guys, a lot of times this structure likes to have, a deeper breakdown somewhere into here at some point and then go parabolic. So I'm surprised it didn't go a little bit deeper than it did. But it might not quite be done. A lot of strength coming in, though.
The MNQ has staged an impressive reclaim of key structural levels, shifting the momentum back in favor of the buyers as price clears the 1 minute EMA, 200 and the 5 minutes Lisma. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 6 out of 10. Reason: price has successfully moved above the 1 minute EMA, 200 at 29,335.50 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,337.0. The transition to a bullish 5 minutes Lisma trend and the sustained green high Kinashi candle signal a strong shift in market control, confirming that the earlier downside move has been neutralized. Concerns: price is rapidly approaching the 1 minute Lisma at 29,371.25, which acts as the next major hurdle. Chasing the current move is not advised as we are entering a zone where sellers may look to defend this resistance level. Long entry option: a long entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold above 29,371.25. Targeting 29410.0. Invalidation is a drop back below 29,335.0. Short entry option: none. Summary: the market has regained its bullish posture after a volatile shakeout. The reclaim of critical structural levels provides a solid foundation for further upside, but traders should exercise patience and allow the price to decisively clear the 1 minute Lisma resistance before committing to new long positions.
Love Good old Neo's guidance. So we're kind of in a little bit of a pickle, guys. Breach above 370, like he said, is just going to jump. But any kind of collapse of like 335 or so is going to drop. So we're in a little bit of a pickle. We did end up getting really close, but we didn't quite clear that gap fill. So 364 would be a clear. Really close. Okay, there it goes. Now the gap fill's cleared. So now we want to see, does it want to blow through it, or does this want to act as a resistance and pull back, right? Moment of truth. Very oscillatory day. So we do have the 382 at 410, and we got a lot of confluence up there now. So that's likely going to act as really strong resistance if we get up to that 410 range again. Again, you know, safer bet on a short unless you're playing defensive would be to get through here, right? Breach wick, close below, and we drop. If you're looking for a long, it's just, you got prior day high, you got 15-minute, Lisma, Asia high. There's just so much resistance up here. It's really dangerous unless you guys can get above like this area here. But then you run into that, you know, prior high. So it's just, if you're looking to prioritize more longs, again, I'm with Neo, right? Let it pull back a little bit and then play some bounces back up into the range. I mean, can we explode? Yeah, I mean, shoot, we did it every day last week. But one of these days, right, it's going to give you that inverse and you're going to get caught. We're just rejecting on Lisma as of right now. A little bit of a squeeze, guys. We do have 1044, pretty much 1045 here, guys. Any questions as we kind of sit in this range? If I see anything, I'll let you guys know, but I'd love to see if you guys want to throw any P&Ls out there in the group me there, or not group me, the Google Meet. Anybody that wants to share that. If you don't want to share the P&L, if you just want to throw a thumbs up if you're green, just kind of let me know how you guys are doing through this.
I got 953 on an eval.
Nice, good deal. Some thumbs up, sweet. Anybody else? How we doing, guys? Come on, talk to me. 23, no trades, good deal. John, you got red on the eval. Are you getting caught on taking the push ups or a little bit early on the pullbacks, or?
I jumped into a zone I knew that was high risk.
The MNQ is currently
Gotcha.
consolidating just below the 1-minute Lisma, reflecting a period of absorption as the market balances the recent recovery against the overhead resistance. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 4 out of 10. Reason. Price is holding above the 1-minute EMA 200 at 29,336.75 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 29,339.25, which confirms that the structural floor is holding. The market is pressing against the 1-minute Lisma at 29,369.50, and while it has not yet achieved a decisive breakout, the sustained green Heikin-Ashi candles indicate that buyers remain active in this zone. Concerns. The 1-minute Lisma remains a firm resistance hurdle, and the divergence between the 15 seconds Lisma and the higher timeframe indicators suggests that the short-term momentum is slowing down, potentially leading to another test of support if the breakout fails to materialize. Long entry option. A long entry is valid on a confirmed breakout and hold above 29370.0, targeting 29405.0. Invalidation is a drop back below 29,340.0, short entry option. None. Summary. The market is in a classic squeeze between the support cluster of the EMA.
I'm going to mute him there. Guys, again, watch for things like this, because usually when you get your deeper breakdowns, you're going to eventually see some kind of trend get respected, right? From within that, because we did create a lower low here, right? So any kind of lower high here is going to be met pretty violently south. If we end up pushing up and creating a higher high, we're either ranging or going up because it's not ready to go down yet. So structure wise, from a higher time frame, like I said, it definitely looking like it wants to range a bit. You can see it just playing out. It's done that pretty much all night since Asia. So they're just trying to find a top and see, do they want to pull this back down in the distribution phase, or do we want to break back up and go up again? So I'm gonna mute Neo here for a second. Let's just go through my my normal stuff here, guys. I do need to minimize this just a little on my size so I can show you guys the rest. If you guys are interested in trading, if you go to nextstepalgo.com, you can watch Neo here for free. We've made a decision that we're going to probably, I'm still going to give my probably because he's in beta, leave the Neo session free, probably indefinite, right? And so I think it's important for people to come in and be able to have guidance and watch a stream without being charged, right? And so there is going to be some other things that will be subscription based if you so choose, which is going to be TradeVision, right? So TradeVision, guys, we have something so cool that Alex and Paul have been working on that I'm just overly excited for. So we're going to revamp all of TradeVision. This is going to be like Neo's central hub where you literally can come in and talk to him about your trade, right? Give him entries, drawdowns. He'll understand DCA. You can let him know your strategy. Are you playing defensive? Are you singular entry? He can give you some kind of directional advice real time on the trade. So when you ask him questions, he can be very conversational back and forth with you about it. And so I'm really excited about that. So this one will be subscription based for sure, but anybody who has VIP or that is in the mentorship group will get that for free regardless. So no matter what. So if you're in those two groups, you don't have to worry about it. So, but a lot of cool things going on with Neo. Guys, courses wise, we have some really cool stuff. We have the trading starter kit that we did. If you want to come in, you can kind of take that one for free. You can even get to it just from here, right on the home page. You just click on the free starter kit. Anybody can get that, and that one's free for everybody. So it's kind of the one I wanted to create for some time, where it basically allows you to decide, is trading even for you, right? Do you even like to trade, or are you getting it? I want to make sure that you understand it before you start paying money, right? And so that's why we created that. It's not very long, not real difficult. It's really designed for more newer people, right? Guys, see how we're sweeping again? This kind of sweep here, if it comes here, breach wicks there, it's going to be another violent move on that. So, but if we hold any kind of absorption, close above, then it's going to be another crazy push. We have additional training here, right? You got the foundations and stuff, lesson 1, 2, 3. Looks like actually Paul, you got 4 out. I didn't know you got 4 done. Nice. Looks like 4 is done, guys. Sweet. If you're part of the mentor group or VIP, you just do that and it gives you your access immediately. Let's take a sneak peek here. Oh shoot.
Lesson.
You got the all the stuff in here. So I'll tell you guys, I've been working on a lot of side courses as well through strategies. I've just finished the ICT one. I'm going to do a CRT one, probably the AMD one as well, and then probably one on just basic order flow, right? But I understand now why Paul likes to put this stuff in here, which ends up being quite a bit of small text, right? But man, it's just so good on the data. Currently, right now, if you click on the ebook, you can come into here. It turns it into the PDF, right, where you can actually, zoom in if you wanted to do it that way, right? And you can read all the stuff that it says. You just go through the ebook like that. I'm going to talk to Alex because I would like to, if it's possible, make these images clickable just for the ease of it, where you can just click on it. The hard part, I don't know if he can do that, because if you notice when you click it, right, it's going to open the page like that, right? And so I think that would mess up everything. So I don't know how he's going to do that. I have to ask him. But man, it's so hard to take out all this text because it's just such good imagery that he's putting into it. It's just really, really good type of stuff. So, but again, guys, anybody that's in the VIP or in the mentorship program, you guys get all of our training stuff for free. So, I do want to touch base also. Our mentorship program, if you go into it, we are really close to that 50. I did get another one that reached out. I'm going to send you an email as soon as I get into my email. Somehow it kicked me out. So, but if you guys are interested in the mentor program, always remember you can email me directly. It's just my name, Nick, at nextstepalgo.com. It's if on TikTok, it's just the link in my bio. There's a thing that says email, and then from the company, right? Most people can either get it from there, or make a support ticket from inside. So I'm always able to see that. But I do have a few people that are left. I have 5 spots left, but some of these are people who are approved that just haven't made a decision, right? And so first 50 that come in and sign up, right? Those are the locked in. I'm gonna tell you guys, the more I do it, and I've had this talk with the people in the mentor program. I mean, my goal is anybody that's in this 50 is gonna be the elite 50, right? We're gonna do everything in our power, and I'm gonna do for sure everything in my power to get you guys to be successful, right? And so that's why all the training videos are all free coming in with that. Also, pretty much most everything that we have is going to open up as free. Eventually I want the mentor group not paying for anything we do down the road, right? And so I just want to make sure you guys have all the tools that you need, right, to be successful. That's my primary goal with this group. So if you are interested, again, let's get on and talk. All right, let's just get on and talk and figure out kind of where you're at in your trading, and kind of lock it in there, because once we get to 50, I'm definitely not doing anymore. So you won't be able to come in unless somebody leaves. So what else? A lot of cool things, like I said, that we're modifying, guys, within. As you guys know, we pretty much don't stop building. So we always got something going on. I did end up, one thing I want to bring up also before we move on is I, again, guys, am not a social media person, but I'm working on it. So with the help of some others, some friends, my son, and good old ChatGPT, I'm able to kind of revamp the page. So I'm working through it. You can see we're live right there. We got categories built within there, some better titles, all the shorts. So I'm kind of building this page. It's going to grow. So I'm going to be putting a lot of kind of post content. So if I do like a pre-market update or something, right, obviously that's going to be for the pre-market people in the mentor group, but I'm like going to post that maybe a few days later or something like that, right, just to kind of have you guys see what that's about. So but I'm going to definitely be giving a lot of attention into this, as well as TikTok, just to kind of keep those things going. Other than that, guys, like I said, a lot of things on the plate. I have a ICT course that's pretty much done. I'll have it up this week. I'm not sure if it'll be early this week or later this week. That'll be to be determined. But definitely got it in the books. So, but looks like we're coming up and testing that 407 range again, guys. This thing is just showing just crazy strength again, but until we break this, all we're doing is ranging, guys, until we break it. So any questions on all that? A lot of stuff to soak in. I can get a let's see, I was using the MVL. It's too expensive. I don't know what the MVL on that one is, but you can look on the website here. Just go to the website, and all of our algos are within there. So, and all the how it works, all the stuff. When you click on any of them, you just come down here, right? And you got that how it works all within there. So.
Hey, text me when you got a few minutes to talk about mentor program, okay?
Yeah. I've sent you a couple texts on those, but yeah, whenever you're ready, man, let's chat. Let's chat. But other than that, guys, we got 10:56. We're gonna jump into the development program and kind of see if we can get some trades, guys. I'm expecting to have some pretty good oscillation again still. I would love for this thing to break back down just so that way we again can kind of keep validating our range, right? Any kind of burst through here, guys, again, who knows where we're gonna go as we continue to do that. So, but let's see if we get a break back down. Let's see. Also, one thing, guys, keep in mind, if you do have questions in the community, you always can ask questions in here. I know some of you are doing awesome utilizing it. I know there's a lot that don't, but I do watch this, so I appreciate all you guys posting your P&Ls. That's so huge for me because I truly want to see how well you guys are doing, right, and your success within. So if you are struggling, give us like, oh man, like 1 to 2 weeks, man, because I think once we get this TradeVision out, guys, that is going to be absolutely game changing for you guys. So game changing, because like I said, I want to, I want his guidance to be so specific that we're probably going to have you guys sign a little I agree to understand that you are clicking the button, right? He still doesn't have a crystal ball, right? But I want it to be really specific and really good data for you guys to help you guys be successful as far as where to put things and entries. And I might even have him give suggestions about limit orders, right? Like, hey, if the market's moving blah blah blah, right, just put, here's a great place to put a limit order and see if you can catch a bounce, right? Or stop losses, or any kind of advice through that. But of course, we got to walk a fine line with that, so we'll have to make sure everybody does kind of click something that says I agree, understanding that he doesn't have a crystal ball, and at the end of the day, it's your decision to push that button. So, but you guys know how I am with it. I'm gonna make sure that the logic that's in there is going to be solid. So, and those that have been watching his stream guidance, right, it's been just on point. So, but yeah. All right, guys. Any final questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna drop off. Let me just drop